Good morning, Transpac race fans. I'm Dobbs Davis giving you the 14 July position analysis report for the 50th edition of the Transpac race. Yesterday we had the final wave of starters head off the starting line at Point Furman on their way to Honolulu. And we'll talk a little bit about their experience as well as those that are already out on the course. Now, looking at our tracker, as you can see, we've got great progress here. We'll zoom in a little bit. We've got great progress here from the first wave of starters back on Wednesday. As you can see, their tracks are very much flattening out. They were headed southwest, now heading more directly west as the breeze has come around to being more behind them out of the northeast, and their speeds are in general pretty good. So here, for example, we look at the lead boat, the FAR 57 Hokaloi, who has been, and I keep mispronouncing that name, I apologize. They are speeding along at 8.5 knots towards Honolulu, likely doing faster than that. As I've been saying, this is VMG speeds, so GPS speeds that are being shown here by the tracking software. But they're having a great time. A lot of the reports coming in from the boats that are in this fleet are quite positive. They're now very much in the trades and speeding along and really having that full Transpac experience. Over here, you can see our second wave of starters that started on Friday. They're starting to get now into that breeze. These boats are larger, faster, and as you can see, we'll soon be overtaking that first wave. They too have been reporting great conditions. The cloudy, cool winds on the California coast have starting to transform now into warm, sunny conditions. Spinnakers are starting to go up, and as you can see too, they have not. Most of them have not gone as far south as we've seen the first wave, and maybe this is a good time to bring up our wind overlays. So this helps tell the story. They've got great breeze here. These green colors in the color coding for the windy. This is a wind model called Windy is the program name, and the oranges and greens are solid breeze, 15 to 20 knots, and that's what's being reported out here. More importantly, you can see that it's filled in down here across previous days in this area, off in the middle of the course, and a little bit south of Rum. We had these blues, areas of light air associated with that North Pacific high that everybody had been trying to avoid. Everybody's gotten far enough south in this group, and this group has just through luck of timing, really, not had to factor that in too much. So their tracks are following more of the classic S-curve courses that go to Hawaii. But the real story this morning is unfortunately not a great one for yesterday's starters. I'll zoom in here, and you can see the problem. All right, green out here, blue in here. What is all this? This is associated with an effect that is in the Southern California coastline called the Catalina Eddy. There's various ways that are described to explain this, but basically when you've got strong offshore winds coming down from the northwest along the California coast, and the fact that the coastline deviates away from the trend of those winds into this area, the Southern California Bight, you can have these back eddies that come in and circulate this way. So yesterday, the start of the race was on port tack. The breeze was so far to the left that they couldn't lay the west end of Catalina on starboard, and in fact had a really tough time last night, even making any progress at all. This area in here is just terrible. There's very little, if any, wind. We can also see that here when we look at the data. Moving my cursor over the icon for Medicine Man, for example, Bob Lane's boat. It's this is a big fast boat. It's shouldn't be going this slow, but as you can see, 2 knots at 237 degrees is really not making great progress. And these poor folks and everybody in this area have been struggling for 12 hours or more in this light air, just trying to get out here. We thought maybe they'd pick up some breeze once they got past the west end of Catalina over here. But here they are, not even to St. Nicholas yet, or San Nicolas Island yet, and they're just still struggling. Now, the rich get richer. The guys with the big fast boats, they're just fast enough to get their nose out into the pressure. So Rio 100, Manusha's boat, he's going at 13.5 knots. Comanche out here, 15.9 knots. So they were just able to get their noses out and start to pick up this pressure. But look over here, folks. Look at Maserati up here in the Channel Islands. They're definitely thinking outside the box, struggling to get out to the fastest pathway to this breeze. Though, remember, we're on a 4-hour delay on this tracker, so they could very well be out there now because this represents 4 hours ago. Anyway, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with Maserati. That was an interesting choice for them. However, Argo is really doing quite well amongst those Mod 70s, the fastest multi-hulls that started yesterday. And as you can see, 22.8 knots is definitely getting them away from the coast fast. Power play down here, they too, they didn't get to it as quickly as Argo did, so they'll be playing catch up. So right now, the race in the multi-hulls will be between these two, but you never know. We'll see what happens with Maserati's approach up here. Well, we certainly feel for everybody in this zone here. Yesterday's starters. It certainly wasn't anything that we predicted early on last week when we projected forward on the weather forecast. But I wanted to share with you one photo of what Medicine Man has been going through, and that was them yesterday. About 2 or 3 hours after the start, just drifting along, trying to make whatever progress they could with the drifter headsail. So again, we hope those guys will get their noses out into this solid pressure offshore and proceed forward with the race. So that's it for today's analysis. Urge everybody to go to the website, transpacYC.com. There's lots of good resources there. Some of the race blogs being sent in by the teams from the race course are really amusing, so that's always good entertainment. So I'm signing off for now, and we will hope you can join us again tomorrow.